Taking a break, Samael?
Oh, yes. It's not easy working the piano all night.
Well, I'm sure you deserve it.
Thank you, Mr. Luton.
You don't have to call me Mr. Samael. We're old friends.
Sure thing, Mr. Luton. Old friends. I reckon I've earned the right to call you Mister.
As long as that's what you want. How's business, Samael?
It's pretty good, Mr. Luton. How are things with you?
Not so good. I think I'm so deep in trouble that I haven't even realized it yet.
You haven't had much luck, have you, Mr. Luton?
Not since the Hotel Pseudopolis.
That was when... Oh, I see.
That's okay, Samael. I don't mind talking to you about it. You're like family. Apparently, some of the cargo on the Milka was delivered here.
That's right. The Milka always brings us a supply of Ephebian wine.
Where is it now?
Most of it is still in the wine cellar. We sell some of it on.
Who to?
Lots of different people. I have a box of receipts in the cellar if you're interested.
Sure.
I'll give you the key.
Years ago, it would have been my dream to stand in the Café Ank's wine cellar. So many barrels of fine wine. Even Chateau Hector, Year of the Weevil. My favorite vintage. I used to dream of Ilsa, too, from time to time. So when I walked in to find Ilsa there, I had to check I wasn't wearing my pajamas. Hello again, Ilsa. I can see I'm going to have to get used to finding you where I least expect. You didn't say goodbye at the casino. What happened to you?
We got away, thanks to you.
It was nothing.
It wasn't nothing. You saved our lives, Luton.
Lulu, is that you?
What's up with him?
He's delirious. He's been injured.
Let me have a look at his wound.
He'll be fine. He needs a chance to rest, that's all. He fades in and out a little, but he'll be okay.
What happened?
It was Remora. He's been following us. He won't quit.
He's an assassin. It's his job. Once they've been paid, the target is as good as dead. They never renege on a contract. They throw great soirees as well. And if they invite you, they won't take no for an answer.
That's not much comfort.
Well, at least you know if an assassin kills you, you're not going to be killed by some thug. They're very efficient at it. Practice makes perfect, you might say. I was going to be an assassin once.
What happened?
The usual. Forces outside my control.
It is you, from Casino. You save our life. We to be in your debt.
I guess you to be just that.
We need your help, Luton.
Haven't I done enough for you?
I know it's a lot to ask after what happened.
Women. It's never enough for you, is it?
Please, you have to find us somewhere safe to hide.
Why? Why should I do that for you? Why should I do anything for you?
Not for what happened, Luton. For what we had. Once.
We had a dream. Trouble is, I woke up and I could still remember it. Does he know about us?
Two conkers? No, I never told him.
Why not?
He's my husband.
You're married?
I always was, even when I met you.
Why didn't you tell me?
It's not as simple as that. I met two conkers in Ikalpon. He was on a secret dig for the Sun Emperor and we fell in love.
I thought the Agateans weren't supposed to know about the outside world.
That's true, but the outside world isn't supposed to know about the Agatean Empire either. Trouble is, centuries ago, their empire spread beyond the counterweight continent, and there's archaeological evidence for the strange and charmed Quack dynasties all along the Turnwise Ocean coast. The Sun Emperor sent two conkers out to cover up the evidence.
This doesn't explain why you didn't tell me you were married when we met.
Two conkers went back to the Agatean Empire, and I stayed behind. He wasn't sure I'd be safe there as an outsider. I didn't think I'd ever see him again. He might as well have died. I almost died too, until I met you.
Great. I was your number 2 husband.
You don't understand, Luton. I didn't love Two Conkers. I mean, I was infatuated with him, and he needed me. I was nothing before I met him. He gave me a purpose. He gave me a life.
Oh, that's good. Because he took mine. At least his accounts will balance. He came back, didn't he? That's why you left me.
Yes. I got a letter from him saying that the government had been overthrown, and the Empire was a new world. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't think you'd understand.
At least you got that right. So, you're Mrs. Ilsa Conkers.
No, I kept my maiden name. Our marriage was supposed to be a secret.
So you've been traveling with Two Conkers for quite a while now.
Yes, we've been making our way around the Circle Sea. There have been several digs.
And everything you find goes back to the Agatean Empire.
No, not now. There's no point. Most of it comes here to Ankh-Morpork. We give it to the Guild of Archaeologists, Antiquarians, and Tomb Evacuators. They have quite a collection of artifacts.
That's it? You spend your life digging up junk that no one ever sees?
We're looking for something. Something Two Conkers wants to take back to the Agatean Empire.
What is it?
A jewel.
Jewel. Find the jewel, yes?
Tell me about this jewel.
Gold-plated jewel. Very old.
I thought the Agatean Empire had plenty of gold.
Special artifact. Gold to be making it come from Agatean Empire. Stolen by one of your gods. Great fortune to Empire if it can be returned to us.
How will you know if you found it?
Gold-plated jewel not common. This jewel be having inscription. Unquam paratus.
It means forever ready.
You don't even know if this jewel actually exists, do you?
We've just come from a dig in Sorta. It's a village near the ruins of the ancient city of Sort. We found inscriptions there of many artifacts, including this jewel. It exists, all right. We just haven't been able to find it.
If all these inscriptions were in Sorta, what are you doing here in Ankh-Morpork?
That's just it. The inscriptions claim that the jewel is here in Ankh-Morpork. Apparently, after the fall of Sort, the jewel was held by monks in the village of Sorta. But over 4 centuries, the Knights of the Order of the Sacred Cretulip went out on quests to find it.
Why?
They were knights. They went on foolish quests all the time. It was a knight thing. I think all the different orders competed to outdo each other in foolishness. I heard the Knights of the Fairly Pink Triangle spent 2 centuries looking for a better name.
And you think one of the knights found it?
Apparently. The inscription said he took it to Ankh-Morpork, there to guard it forever.
Forever?
You know these ancient inscriptions. They have a tendency to exaggerate everything. It probably meant nearly forever.
You two must know about a lot of ancient artifacts.
Of course. Why do you ask?
Ever heard of a golden sword?
Golden sword. You have to be being more precise. Must be 50 golden sword artifacts in Agatean Empire alone.
But then they do have a lot of gold. That's why they call it the Orient.
I'm trying to track some of the cargo on the Milka. A set of crates that were supposed to belong to a Varberg.
That's me, Ilsa Varberg.
You never told me your name was Varberg.
Names weren't that important to us back then, if you remember.
I guess not. So the crates are yours?
Mine and Two Conkers, yes. They should be at the Guild of Archaeologists by now.
What was in them?
Artifacts from the dig in Sorta. Nothing valuable except in the historical sense.
I need to get to them.
I can get you into the guild if you want, but it'll cost you.
What do you want?
Find us somewhere safe to hide Two Conkers. He's not safe while Remora is looking for him.
That's true. But nowhere in the city is going to be safe.
You'll have to find somewhere that no one would even think of looking for him.
It'd take a miracle to conceal Two Conkers, and the patrician has outlawed miracles.
That's my price. If you hide Two Conkers, I'll sign you into the guild. You'll never get in there without me.
I'll do what I can. That's all I can do.
That's all I ask.
If I find somewhere to hide him, you'll take me to the crates?
I'll get you into the guild, but you're on your own after that. That's my offer. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Do you know a troll named Jasper Horst?
Horst, I've heard of him. He's a treasure hunter, isn't he?
So it seems.
I heard that one of his employees was in Soto when we were. I don't know what they were doing, though.
I'll be back.
We're not going anywhere.
Just like Samael had told me, there was a box of receipts in the cellar. I rooted carefully through the receipts, and the only recent purchaser was the patrician. It seems he'd bought a number of barrels of fine wine to take to the palace. I guess the golem I'd seen at the cafe was owned by Lord Veterinary. I knew that someone had pushed the card under the door, and I knew what it meant. It meant that I should have fitted a letterbox.
Have arranged meeting with Therma on the rooftops at the junction of Sally Street and Phaedra Road. Come immediately.
Salis and Phaedra. There wasn't much around there. Nice and quiet. Well, I'm back. It's not been easy, but I've arranged a meeting with Therma.
Take me there. Take me to Therma.
In a moment. First, there's a couple of things we need to discuss.
Take me to Therma. Take me now.
Okay. Let's go. The rooftops above Salis and Phaedra were quiet. No one had a reason to be up here. I was looking forward to meeting the mysterious Therma, and I was hoping I might get some answers out of her. Unfortunately, the last thing I remembered was looking up at the moon. The next thing I knew, I was being arrested by the Watch. They told me Malachite was as dead as two sides of bacon, and I was the prime suspect. His back had been chipped away like he'd said something particularly insulting to a disgruntled quarry workman, and they seemed to think my crowbar was the murder weapon. I had the opportunity and a possible murder weapon. All they were missing was motive. And anyone who had ever tried to get an intelligent comment out of the troll had a motive to kill him. It looked like I'd been stitched up as nicely as a fine genuine tapestry. They took me to Pseudopolis Yard to be interrogated. They had a salamander lamp shining in my eyes, so I couldn't see what was going on, but I could hear Nobby and a troll talking in the darkness. It was probably Detritus, the first troll to join the Watch. Detritus was the troll many people in Ankh-Morpork thought of when they heard the word troll, bringing back as it does vague memories of sudden concussion and extreme pain. Sometimes you'd hear two short planks being described as thick as detritus. Your ideal street cop, in fact.
So I'm a good cop.
No, I'm the good cop. You're the bad cop.
Then, why don't I get to prod him a bit with my fists?
Because we're supposed to get information out of him, and it's hard to understand people talking through a mouthful of loose teeth.
I can smash lightly, more like a gentle caress, right?
No punching.
I can kick using minimal acceptable force. Like Mr. Vimes says, lots of it.
No. No punching, no kicking. We just talk to him.
Talk?
Right, well, I'll talk. You shout.
All right, you done it. Own up now, we know it was you.
No, not yet.
Oh, all right.
I've just got to start the audiograph.
Right. All right, you done it now. You got to sing like one of them flappy twittery things.
Wait! I've got to start the recording properly, otherwise it doesn't count. Right. Interviewing suspect Luton. Present, Corporal Nobbs and Sergeant Detritus.
Now?
Now.
All right, you done it. You might as well make it easy on yourself. Everyone know it was you.
This is my interrogation, is it?
Don't you change the subject, you miserable excuse for our horse's donkey.
Just tell us what happened, Luton.
Here the facts. Fact. Mundy was killed. You found at the murder scene.
I was unconscious.
How you knowing you was unconscious if you was unconscious, eh? Foiled you with logic. Now you listen to me good, and then we see who wears the long two-legged garments. Fact. Escape thingy, Mount Malachite.
Thingy? You mean troll?
Nah, not escape troll. Escaped,
Feline.
Escaped feline?
Yeah, he escaped from a holding cell.
Is it possible the word we're looking for here is felon?
That's the one.
What did he do?
Hey, we asked the questions, you miserable arugaraha. You know what arugaraha mean?
He knocked over the Van Uberwald mansion.
I never knocked over the von Uberwald mansion.
Now, that's what Malachite did.
So what does arugraha mean?
In the precise moment that dog droppings turn white.
I think you'd better get back to being the bad cop.
I'm the good cop.
Now, I'm the good cop.
So that made me...
The bad cop.
So how come I not get to hit you then?
We can't beat him up, Detritus. That'd be police brutality.
It only brutality if you leave marks. What show? Escape thingy, Mount Malachite. Was killed. And you was found at the murder scene there too.
Once again, I was unconscious.
Oh, how convenient for you. 2 murders and 2 unconsciousnesses. What about the murder weapon, eh? What about the crowbar?
Tell us where you got the crowbar, and I'll give you a smoke.
One of your dog ends? No, thanks.
I'll get you coffee. Maybe some cherry cake. New suit. You get to choose the colour.
I think you're taking this good cop role too seriously.
Thank you. Now my turn. You want to fall down the steps to the cell without leaving your chair? It's fine by me.
Look, I had a meeting with a troll named Therma on the rooftops of Salis and Phaedra. I'd arranged it on Malachite's behalf, and when we got there, I must have been knocked unconscious by the killer. I know it sounds improbable, but that's how it happened.
2 murders, and you happen to be unconscious at the scene of both.
You got to admit, Luton, it's a little far-fetched.
You want I should make up a defense? You want I should lie? This is the Lawyers' Guild all of a sudden?
Just tell us what you know.
I've told you all I know.
How come you know Malachite?
I met him in the streets. He wanted me to find someone called Therma.
When you find out he was a felony.
A felon. And I didn't find out until just now.
Luton, you're going down for murder. I don't think it's worth pretending you don't know who Malachite was.
I didn't know who he was. Do I need to draw you a map?
To what?
It just doesn't seem right, Luton. You being a detective and all, and not knowing one of your clients was an escaped felon.
What can I say? I guess I'm not as good a detective as you are. You want to know what else?
I wouldn't mind that map you mentioned. Might make things a little clearer.
Shut up, Detritus. There isn't a map.
He said there was.
I kept following Malachite's case because it intrigued me, and the more I dug, the more interesting it became.
What did you find out?
I don't know. I guess I learned that I shouldn't have tracked down Therma. It seems likely to me that she's Malachite's murderer. Why don't you interrogate her?
There's no troll named Therma in Ankh-Morpork. You expect us to believe that this Therma killed Malachite and Mundy and framed you for both? Come on, sing like a pigeon on a stool. You done it, didn't you?
There's no reasoning with you, is there?
Not often.
Come on, you ugly sewer scraping. We want something we can believe.
That's enough, detritus.
Sir?
You can go.
I did it right?
Let's say you were everything I expected. Now go and write up the report. Not in crayon this time, please.
That should keep him busy for a few days.
He may be slow, but he's not an untrustworthy killer like you.
Why the personal interest in this case, Vimes? I'm sure you've got more important things to do now you're commander of the watch.
My reasons are my own.
You're not interested in my guilt or innocence. You're just out to nail me.
Frankly, Luton, I've got all the evidence of your guilt I need, and if I get my way, they'll lock you up and melt down the key for scrap iron. You're a bad cop, and I don't have any time for you.
If you're so convinced of my guilt, why the interrogation?
Nobby has this deranged idea that there might be some extenuating circumstances that we ought to find out about.
It'd make everything a lot easier if you'd confess, Luton. I'm sure you had a good reason to do what you did. Let us help you. Cigarette? Holiday for two in Quirm, sea-facing room, we pay the minibar bill.
I'm not guilty and I'm not confessing to a crime I didn't commit.
Listen to me, Luton. We're conducting this interrogation because I believe in upholding the law.
There is no law in Ankh-Morpork.
True enough, but there's my law, and there's the patrician's law. Which would you rather face?
What's the difference?
The Lord Veterinary considers it a happy state of affairs if the punishment can involve the actual perpetrator, but sees it as by no means essential. I consider it to be absolutely essential.
But you've already decided that I'm guilty.
That doesn't mean I've proved it.
And if I prove my innocence?
That's not going to happen.
Then what's the point of this farce?
Smoke?
No.
The thing is, Luton, we just want to find out what happened.
Do one decent thing in your life, Luton. Help us close this case.
Why should I?
So we can close this sorry little act and concentrate on the threat to the city.
The threat?
The counterweight killings.
Surely you have other suspects for the murders I'm accused of, even if you don't think they're part of the counterweight killings.
Smoke? A set of the complete plays of Whell the Dwarf, bound in nearly real leather?
No, I don't want a smoke. I want to know who the other suspects are.
At the moment, you're top of our list.
Although you are the bottom of our list, too.
I am the list, aren't I?
Sorry.
Don't apologize, Nobby. Listen, Luton. There are other suspects for the counterweight killings, and we're investigating those. But for Mundy and the Troll, you're the bottom line.
What about Horst?
What does Horst have to do with anything?
He's been watching me. He's up to something.
He's always up to something. But he's not a murderer. Not by his own hand, anyway. He'd never be so careless as to carry out a murder himself. He's not that dumb.
What about Al-Khali?
Al-Khali?
One of Horst's cronies. I think he's been following me.
I guess I could interview him.
Why do I have a feeling that you won't?
Face it, Luton. You killed Mundy. You killed Malachite. And you tried to make it look like it was part of the counterweight killings.
What about Reagan?
The dead dwarf? What about him?
Another murder in suspicious, almost ritualistic circumstances. He's a nobody, but it has all the hallmarks of a counterweight killing.
Are you confessing to the murder of Reagan?
No, I'm just saying that Mundy and Malachite aren't the only nobodies to get bumped off in mysterious circumstances.
There was nothing mysterious about Reagan's death.
People don't just drive carriages off a bridge for no reason.
He was driving recklessly across the city. It's probably just a suicide. Maybe he was just drunk.
What about the bite marks?
Bite marks?
There weren't any bite marks. I looked.
Reagan was murdered. I'm sure of it.
You've got bigger problems than that right now, Luton. I suggest you concentrate on them.
Doesn't it make more sense that both Mundy and Malachite were killed by this so-called counterweight killer?
That's what you'd like us to believe, isn't it? You make the murders look like the counterweight killings and hope to get away with it.
That's it, isn't it? You're not interested in me. You want to catch the counterweight killer.
You're just a low-life killer, Luton. My job is to protect citizens from people like you.
What? You don't even like them much. You think they're all criminals.
Maybe. But murder leaves the place too messy.
Look, Luton, we don't think you're involved with the counterweight killings. But we have to know which ones are which if we're going to stop him from killing again. This is your chance to be a hero. To help us to catch a foreign assassin.
A hero? There's nothing I can do to save myself. Why should I care about the rest of the city?
You were a good man once, Luton. This could be your one shot at redemption.
I was never that good a shot.
You ought to know, Luton, that you're a suspect in the counterweight killings. That crowbar of yours was palace property, which means you had access to at least one of the murder sites.
You're getting desperate, aren't you?
We're wasting our time with you.
Will you explain to me why you're so confident that Mundy and Malachite weren't killed by whoever was responsible for the rest of the counterweight killings?
Everyone else has been sort of important. Mundy and the Troll were nobodies.
Quiet, Nobby.
You're crazy. You think you found a pattern and you're forcing everything else to fit it.
We're doing our job.
Nothing I say is going to convince you of my innocence, is it?
It doesn't look that way.
All right. Yes, I was in Mundy's room when he was killed, but I was unconscious. And yes, I was on the rooftops when Malachite was killed. Again, I was unconscious. I don't know what happened, but somebody knocked me out, and whoever they are, they're the one you should be looking for.
Fine. If that's the way you want it, that's the way you'll get it. Give my regards to Lord Veterinary when your trial comes up. I doubt he'll be as patient with you as I have. The fact is, mister, that with you behind bars, the city will be a slightly better place.